Russia did not only attack Ukraine militarily from 2014 onwards, but also with propaganda and information warfare, which have been at the forefront of Russia's efforts to control, dominate, and coerce the people of Ukraine. They have also sought to undermine and destroy Ukrainian political institutions, civil administrations, education establishments, and culture. But a whole community of digital innovators, marketers and software engineers, journalists and researchers have fought back. They've been creating dynamic and innovative organizations and new ways to tackle disinformation, promote the truth, and of course, fight weaponized social media. They're creating a new front line in the fight for democracy, and in many ways are far ahead of the West in advancing techniques for digital counterinsurgency and promoting media literacy. Welcome to Silicon Curtain. We aim to cover a range of issues around online propaganda and digital disinformation. If you enjoy the material we create, then please like and subscribe to help boost the popularity of our videos in YouTube. Mila Krutchenko is a digital marketing professional and expert in strategic planning, marketing, and business positioning. She is currently the Chief Strategy and Digital Officer at RAZOM Communications and has previously worked for other media agencies such as ADV Group, AdPro, Isobar, and Provid. Mila Krutchenko is also a key player within a major recent initiative to unite Ukrainian media agencies to fight Russian aggression and propaganda and to support Ukrainian civil society. Mila, welcome to the channel.
Thank you for inviting me, Jonathan.
Not at all. And of course, I've spoken to one of your colleagues previously, Anastasia Berzhenko, who is the head of the IAB, the Internet Advertising Bureau in Ukraine. So I think we can make a connection between one of those earlier videos we recorded.
Yes, for sure. She's also one of the supporters of this initiative I'd like to tell about later on.
Fantastic. Well, let's do that. We'll tackle that. But my first question I've got really is, as a professional marketer, what is it like to continue working under wartime conditions and to balance all these other projects that you're doing to support the war effort with, I assume, you know, the day job and other stuff you've got to do?
Yes, actually, really, this year brought really drastic changes to Ukrainian media market because for the first couple of months of war, there was no advertising at all in Ukraine. So we did have a lot of time to do our social projects instead of commercial ones. But everything that happens to Ukrainians now only make us stronger, I guess, because we forgot about our rivalry and competition on our market, and we all gathered together and thought what we could do to help Ukraine, to help Ukrainian people, and to make sure that all the world will hear the right edge of the communication, because a lot of miscommunication was spread by Russians, and it was really important for us to show the world what really happens in Ukraine and how they affect the common people, not only military people or military objects, but children, hospitals, and schools as well.
And you're a very prominent, visible member of the marketing community in Ukraine. Have you had a lot of support and encouragement from colleagues and acquaintances? Have you found the industry sort of joining together to support each other?
Yes, for sure. Actually, even those people who were not really communicating to each other because they were in competitive agencies started communicating and thinking about what we can do together. And especially for the first months of war, the companies, the local companies, our clients, our companies of our competitors brought out their own money, the money of local businesses, just to support all those initiatives that we had via market. when the time passed a bit, we of course communicated with our colleagues abroad, with our networks, and networks also stepped in and started to help us financially and in terms of media and communication. But the first months, it was only us, and it felt like only Ukraine is on the edge. So we had to mobilize all our resources, all our time and motivation to just stay where we are and to make sure that we were staying Ukraine, the independent country. Yes, but yeah, but world also helped. It just needed time for it to understand what's happening around.
And of course, in 2014, the marketing industry and especially the technology industries in Ukraine were relatively small. If we go back to the first invasion of Russia with Crimea and Donbass, but in those 8 years, there's been a huge growth in both marketing and especially the technology industries. And actually, that is perfect timing, isn't it? Because your discipline, your expertise, combined with the sort of technological capabilities that Ukrainians have, they've been absolutely crucial in many, many areas of the war effort.
Yes, I'd say that these 8 years gave us an opportunity to speak loudly, to make sure that we'll be heard in all over the world. And we've been raised on a highly volatile market, so we were ready for some drastic changes, and we were ready to stand up and do something. We weren't in the position where we didn't know what to do. Everybody knew what to do, and our main not problem but challenge was to choose one of the initiatives from all the variety we've got from different professionals, because everybody has their own ideas, what we should do, what should we communicate. And I think that people abroad have noticed that there were really loads of different videos from Ukraine with different messages, and at the beginning it just created some kind of mess in the minds of people because the messages were really different. But we also noticed that, so we gathered together and decided on our priorities. What should we tell and what should be prioritized in terms of communication. So now we try to hold one line of communication and make sure that we rather work on effective frequency than different messages.
And a great example, that's a good way to introduce the project that we're going to talk about, because the marketing industry has come together, haven't they? And as you say, rival companies who in ordinary situations would not be collaborating this way, but you've all come together to create something called the World for Ukraine project. Could you describe the initiative? How does it work? What are its aims and aspirations? If you can introduce us to it.
Yes, I'll be glad to. Actually, it's been almost 7 months of war in Ukraine, and within these 7 months, we've been constantly communicating to the world, telling them what's happening there. And we've got a couple of really crucial insights from it. We understood that if at the beginning of the war, all the world woke up and went to bed with news about Ukraine top of mind, then people just decided that it's too much of sad news for them, too much of stress, and they started to turn off all this, not all information, but most of it. So for us, it was crucial not to become old news for the people that are not directly affected by the war. And we decided that we need this platform, this initiative that would help people to stay in touch with us in a softer manner, not talking about all the military details, but focusing on ordinary people and those initiatives that could help children, that could help journalists, that try to deliver the right information, and that would help people to support Ukraine not only financially but with their time and resources in a softer way, without this overload of the information and stress. And the second crucial insight that we've got was that people do want to support Ukraine, but they don't really know how to do it, but the international funds. And international funds, such as Red Cross, are really big, and not all the money donated there would actually do their work in Ukraine.
Because they have bureaucracies, don't they? So a big part of a donation is going to go on local administrators. It doesn't go into the pockets of the Ukrainian economy.
Long supply channel, and of course some percentage of money is situated in each chain of this supply chain. So yes, we decided that the best way for people to help financially is to find the right local funds. But then there is a trust issue. If people don't know this funds, don't know people that work there personally, how could they trust in it? And that's where we decided that, well, they know us. If we're talking about media market, about advertising market, we are all parts of big global networks, and we're working with same global clients. So we decided that we'll go smart and special. We'll target on those people who work in marketing, who work in media, and we'll show our names as verification for those funds we know, we chose. So this way, we'll work with these trust issues and lead our colleagues to those places where they can donate money if they want to, and get all the reports about how this money helped people. And they can choose actually on what cause they could donate. So it's as transparent as it could be, and it's totally Ukrainian local, so all money will definitely stay in Ukraine, and that's one of the reasons we're trying to communicate about donations as well. And the third insight we've got is that not all people that want to help can help financially, and actually, we need any help we can get. So in this project, we also offer agencies to help with their work source. They can create creative materials for our advertising of this project, of the funds. If they have a free creative team or creative couple, they can do that and upload their creatives, and will use it on advertising in their country, because they know locally what communication works best for this country. And for the media agencies and sites, if they have this opportunity to promote our communication, to use video or banner formats to communicate about Ukrainian initiative, we also would gladly use these spots to communicate with audiences. This way, both creative and media people could help with their source, with their time, not with money.
So the idea is to create a single portal and an identity, even a brand, where if people donate, they can choose their cause, but they know that there's a high degree of transparency about where their donation is going. They also know that you have done some due diligence on all of the causes that are going to be donated to. So how do you go about choosing those causes, and how do you run the sort of due diligence on them to ensure the donations actually end up with the right people being spent on good causes?
We created a long list. All the participants of this initiative could add those funds they knew and used to donate to those funds by themselves. So we created a long list, and then we communicated with all the funds from this list, making sure that they are ready to give us all analytics on the transactions and all the reports considering where this money are spent. And of course, as we were targeting globally outside of Ukraine, we asked for English version of the site so people could see and read what is this fund working for, what are their causes, what are their projects, and what cause they would be donating to. So it's about our own experience as we're verifying it. It's about readiness to show us all the analytics of the transfers of people and their money transactions, and the reporting part, because if we're talking about companies, they sometimes need the special reports for their company, so we could do that the way that is most suitable in their country.
And it sounds like there's quite a bit of technology potentially required to build the platform. So where do you get that support from, and how much sort of technical skills and planning are required to make it all work?
Actually, all project was totally social, and we paid for nothing in it at all. One of our participants created this platform, and the media agencies helped with media support planning and bonus placements on different resources. And the creative agencies provided us copyright for the site and translation in English as well. And we gave a strategist for this project who actually strategized all the divisions and briefed all the participants. So it was all made by our efforts, and we didn't have any additional costs for it.
So you didn't have to go to the government, you didn't have to compromise the independence of the concept by going to seek government money. You're completely self-funding and self-organizing.
Yes, that was completely a project created by Ukrainian media market for media specialists and advertising specialists worldwide, without any government or any other intrusion at all.
And what other partnerships and relationships have you got to help promote the platform? So I know that you've been working with the IAB, but who are your partners and how do they help with the project?
Actually, I'll give the link, and I hope that you'll post it with the video. We did name all the participants there. I wouldn't try to name them all now because it's majority of our market. But besides the IAB, most of the biggest media groups took part in it, and there were several creative local agencies and web studios that help us with the site, and also sales houses and sites, Ukrainian sites that supported us with placements of the communication of this platform as well.
That's fantastic. And what's the impact so far, and what are your aspirations for the next few months for the project?
Actually, we just launched it, and we're still setting up our promotion campaign. So it's too early to talk about impact right
Early
now.
days still, yeah.
Yes, but our next steps are to turn on the big promotion campaign aimed at several countries, Western Europe, USA, and Canada. We started there, and then we'll go globally. And of course, we'll be communicating with our networks in terms of placement of press release about this platform, and they promised us as well to help telling people about this initiative and supporting it. And then we'll aim at the biggest advertisers and advertising agencies, and talk to our colleagues first of all, because they do know our names, brand names, and we are hoping that that would be enough for them to trust into Ukrainian local funds and not spend money on global ones.
And if anyone watching this video wants to help, what's the best way they can do to help? Is it with donations, or are you also looking for people with particular talents and skills and networks that could assist you?
I myself truly believe that people just should do what they do best, and if it's about money donation, they have this option with local funds. If they have spare pair of hands, they could help us with creatives and media placements. And the fourth division I haven't talked yet about is crowdsourcing of Ukrainian specialists as well, because as I told before, Ukrainian media market, Ukrainian advertising market is now around 25% of volume that was in the last year. So we do have this potential to grow and to help. And we do have a lot of experience in highly volatile markets. We know how to plan different target audiences, and there are a lot of talents in Ukraine. So what companies can do to help Ukrainians as well is to give us some projects to do, to support us, not financially, but trying to hire or crowdsource Ukrainians, because we do have expertise, and now we have time to work for the other companies as well.
And of course, it's very important, isn't it, for people not just to earn money to sort of get by at the moment, but you know, let's be optimistic. I think everyone will have a chance to sort of go home who's abroad currently, and they'll need to rebuild the country. And the money and the skills that they're earning while they're isolated from their country will be absolutely invaluable in helping to rebuild Ukraine when people go back.
Yes, that's why I'm talking more about projects outsourcing, because not only people struggling, those who are now misplaced and stay in different countries, but also Ukrainian businesses are struggling, and in advertising as well. There are local companies, media and creative, that do have employees to pay to, and we do understand that volume is lower, and we're struggling to keep all our people in the same companies and business moving. That's why we really need some projects and clients from abroad, just to make sure that business is not stopped, and there will be companies after the war, and to rebuild everything.
Well, I think that's brilliant insight into the project and the reasons for the project. Let's turn to some of the broader issues. And you know, you and I are both in marketing, and in some ways there are similarities, aren't there, between marketing and propaganda, testing different messages, testing what works, gathering data about your audience. Could you describe a little bit about how Russian propaganda works, and why your insights as a marketeer are important for decoding propaganda and in fact fighting it?
Well, I think that Russians just use the same weapon they used for decades, and they don't really realize yet that world has changed, and information should be more about being smart and effective than massive and just repeated. And what they do, they just keep telling absolute nonsense, but doing that through all media, and it works in Russia. I don't know why they are so brainwashed, but it looks like it. They just had this critical number of same messages. They started to believe it, and still we get this news from Russian sides that are just the same they were in February. They just are on a repeat with date changing. They don't even change the words in the messages, and for some reason it works for Russians inside, but Ukrainians notice that it doesn't sound right. I guess we're more used to trying to check up information from different sources and try to make our own conclusions. That's why if we notice something like that, we try to deliver that to Ukrainians to show them that, well, this information comes from Russia, and that's not true because, and try to show in other sources of information and try to catch them on their lies. With the global communication, it gets a bit more difficult because we don't always see what Russia communicates to the world because of the local targetings. So we have to find this out, and usually we just try to communicate our own line, not including any information from the aggressor, just not to emphasize on what they are saying, because it just sounds bad. We're trying to show the real picture and give as many proofs to it as we can, showing the real picture. So for us, it's important not to be silent and make sure that people won't get the wrong picture through the communication that Russians do.
And I've heard a lot of people, marketeers and others who've been engaging with this say the same thing. You can't fight propaganda with more propaganda. You can't deliver a negative message to fight a negative message. And the same is true in advertising, isn't it? If you want to overturn perceptions, you have to be either neutral or positive. Negative marketing hardly ever works or sticks.
Yes, I think so. And once again, it's hard to be louder than such a big country as Russia is. So we're not trying to be louder. We're trying to be more perceptive and more trustworthy. So we're trying to get to right people with right messages the right number of times, instead of just yelling out everything.
And I've spoken to a number of people who've been working on very exciting projects around media literacy. And I think once you go beyond the sort of immediate reaction during wartime, in the longer future, media literacy is going to be absolutely critical, isn't it? Teaching people how to interpret sources of information, especially digital information, and teaching them really from kindergarten upwards to think critically about information sources. How do you think the insights from the marketing industry can help with that process of building media literacy?
First of all, we're really lucky and should be grateful for the internet connection that we have in Ukraine. It stayed with us through all these hard times, and actually, if we look at media markets in Ukraine, we see that digital and mobile phones is our primary source of information now. So people were used to get the information from the internet even before war. And now the percentage of those who watch TV is lower, and those who go online to look up news is going higher and higher. And that's really important for people to get this opportunity to look for information and to check up different sources instead of just watching what they are showing to them at TV, and that's it. So I think that the first steps in terms of educating people how to deal with the information is done already, and now we are just getting used to those times when we have all these messengers and messenger groups that deliver news even faster than sites do. So it's really important to find the right sources, and then it's all in our smartphones. So we can check the information, see the latest news, and make sure that it's not a fake, that this same information goes from different sources. And as marketing people, we keep telling Ukrainians that it's crucial to make sure that we are looking not only inside of Ukrainian market. We are reading not only Ukrainian news, but the world news as well, to make sure that we're on the same page, and it lowers all those stressful moments for Ukrainians when they think that they are alone in this war. They are not. The whole world supports us, and it's really important for Ukrainians to know that, and we do appreciate all the help we get from different countries, and we do feel this support. So when Ukrainians read the news, they usually start from Ukrainian sites, and then they ask same questions in English and check the Western sites as well.
Now, you're living in the UK at the moment. Do you notice any big difference between the way the war is reported in the British press and online in the British media? And of course, you're looking at sources in Ukraine, and there's the very vibrant media environment there now, with a whole range of different newspapers with different opinions. What are the big differences you see in the two media environments?
Actually, I don't see the crucial differences, and that's what makes me happy. That means that Ukrainian people are not being brainwashed, so they have the same information as the world has. So there are no extra bad guys or extra good guys there. We can see the actual situation and how it develops, and world sees the same picture. So it's a good news. Of course, in UK news, Ukraine is only one of the stories to be told. In Ukrainian news, it's all about Ukraine. But that is understandable, so no questions there.
And you also know that in the Western media, and you've referred to it earlier, and one of the reasons you've created this fantastic project is to keep Ukraine top of mind, because there is a tendency in the Western media to move on quite quickly to the next topic, and if something drags on for months, then the public don't have the attention span to engage with it unless you can switch the narrative up, unless you can change it, unless you can put angles and interest in there. So what's your thoughts on how Ukraine can stay top of the news agenda and top of mind amongst British and Western audiences?
Actually, here in UK, I've been asking the question to the people around, what do they hear about Ukraine, what they think about this war. And I've heard a lot of stories that when it started, they were watching it 24/7, and then they understood that it only brings anxiety because they don't know how to deal with it. So they are really sorry about the war. They know that such things shouldn't happen in our time to our people, but that's it. They didn't know how they as individuals can help. And that's actually one of the insights the project was built on. We tried to show all the varieties, how each and everyone can help and keep helping. So it's like, it's not about giving money once and closing this topic. Yes, it's the problem that continues, and it's more about adoption, I guess. Like, you know, you can adopt an animal at the zoo and take care of it as long as possible, not only with money, but with trying to find a new family and stuff like that. We tried to do something like that for the whole country. So it's not only about helping once or being sorry about Ukraine or praying for it. It's about finding a way as you as a thinking individual could help and keep helping the people and country. And it shouldn't be about money. Money is important, but it's not the goal. It's just the means to achieve the goal. So you can help with your time. You can help with just sharing the information about the initiatives, just telling about it to your friends, to your colleagues, and you shouldn't be sorry. We're just getting stronger, but you can take part in it. You can be part of this history that is building right now.
My last question really relates to probably one of the most successful aspects of Ukraine's information. I call it information warfare. It's sort of not really, but the information strategy, and that is to use humor and satire. And it's been incredibly effective, and Russia has no response to that at all. So the memes that are going around, the images, the picture in such dark times, and yet Ukrainians seem to be able to find humorous things. They seem to be able to mock, you know, their attackers. And that is certainly something, you know, call it almost marketing terms. That's certainly something that grabs the attention of a Western audience and helps, whereas perhaps sort of serious news told with a straight face won't catch their attention. But it's things like Ruski kорабль лети, ну, куда знаем, что, куда, and all these kind of things. You know, the tractors pulling tanks at the start of the war, but there's been many, many of them. It's organic, but it's also highly, highly effective at engaging people's attention, isn't it?
Yes, for sure. And as I told before, Ukraine is full of talents, and we're trying to be effective in those ways we can. And of course, we try different ways to reach our target audience and our targets. And sometimes it's just giving the facts, and sometimes it's making jokes. Sometimes just being grateful helps. Yes, because of course Europe has done loads of initiatives to help Ukrainians, and they might feel a bit tired of all those refugees now. So we also make sure that they hear that we're really grateful for that, and that we don't expect just gifts. We are ready to work for it, and we're ready to give back as soon as possible. And sometimes it's something fun, sometimes it's something sensitive, like sensible, trying to show our emotions. It also works. Sometimes it's about facts and being truthful. So, but anyway, we're trying to be optimistic and trying to deliver good news rather than just bad news, because nobody is able to live within this bad news for a long time. So to make sure we're not old news, we're trying to be as variable as possible.
I think that's a great place to end the conversation on an absolutely positive note. And we'll hope that the victory comes soon, and that people can take these experiences and where possible, get something good out of them, and that Ukraine, of course, will become a core part of European culture, European democracy and civil society. So there are things to be optimistic about.
For sure. Thank you, Jonathan.